Hello, this is recap video number 2 for Furry Cartooning for Amateurs Summer 2026. You're going to need 4 supplies, the same supplies as last week. Note cards, 4x6 note cards, inches, 4x6 inch note cards. Your pens from last week, either the Papermate Flare or the Tombow Furunosuke. Your composition notebook, and your printer paper for tonight's activities. This video is for people who missed the class, but also if you would like to follow along with the class, you can do so using these videos. So, let's get started. So the first thing we did was attendance cards. Let me get that set up. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Here we go. So I can do my transformation off screen. So the attendance card is the same as last week. Start with your 4x6 note card, and then you're going to move into drawing a frame. And the prompt is going to be draw yourself, your persona, or yourself as a random animal. If you need a random animal, I got this. As the president of a nation, or the ruler of a nation, prime minister of a nation, whatever. And if you need a random animal, draw yourself as a skunk. Okay. And you put your name at the top left, the date at the top right. So my example this time is this. I am Professor Moomin. Okay. Oh, really intense lighting here. There we go. So that was our warm-up, as per usual. And then we did some sharing time about our X-Page diary entries that we did this past week, about what we experienced and anything like that. And maybe some photos, whatever. And then we moved into a technical tip minute. So I'll do that demo here. Basically, what I did was I showed off how to adjust the different levels on a photo in order to make your drawings more clear when you post them, etc. So let me open my phone. So here it is. I just took a picture of it on my phone. Let's see. It looks pretty good because the lighting is really good. But if the lighting wasn't that good, there are some things that we can do to adjust to make it more clear. So something I do is I go down here, I click on, you can do all these different settings here. So I like to increase the brightness, increase the contrast a little bit. You're not going to be able to tell very much of a difference with the document camera on there. And one thing I like to do immediately is take the saturation with these black and white drawings and bump it all the way to the bottom. And I really want the white to be totally white on the screen and the black to be totally black, or at least pretty dark. And so this already looks pretty good. I can adjust it to make it stronger, but let's see if I undo the brightness. I don't know. This is a bad example. I should have taken a picture in bad lighting. But you get the idea. This is just something that you can do to boost the contrast to make things clearer. I'm not super interested in doing a lot of technical advice in this class, but I thought I'd drop that in there. Okay. Let's zoom back out. So the first activity we did tonight, besides the attendance card, was Doodle Furries. I call it Doodle Furries. It's really this adapted exercise from Linda Berry's book Making Comics called Doodle Monsters, right? So let's open that page to show you what she says, and then I'll show you how I change it up. The end result is going to look kind of like that. And to not really bias you too much, we're going to do the first part of the activity before I show you the rest of it. So take out an attendance card, and then what I'm going to have you do is answer these 3 prompts with writing full sentences. Something you have to do, a chore, like, I can show my examples here. A line you have memorized from a poem or song, a question you have been wondering about, and a specific command by a king or queen. So these are my examples there. No timed activity, no timer for this one, but go ahead and do that now. And then once you're done with that, you're going to fold a piece of paper into fourths, kind of like this, a piece of printer paper. And actually, we did them this way, so I recommend doing it, starting your paper off not horizontal, but vertical. And then you're going to do a bunch of different things to create this result here. And then you're going to choose them and put these words here. So I'm going to guide you step by step, but this is what it's going to look like at the end. Okay, just so you have an idea. So my step-by-step instructions, go through my pile here, is from, this scene, Furry cartooning games and practices, my adaptation of a bunch of different activities, a lot of them from Linda Berry, because I wish I could just give out making comics to everyone. But this one I call a Fursona Jam, and it's good for like groups of people where you can pass the paper along, and especially small pieces of paper. You can do something with just quarter sheets and do this like in registration line. I like doing it then. But yeah, so you have your folded piece of paper, your big folded printer piece of paper, and then in between these steps, I'm going to have you pause and you do this, right? So the first step is to draw a head shape and then a body shape. And it can be kind of whatever wiggly or not very realistic shape you want. So like that one wasn't super realistic, right? So you do that for the top row, and then do that for a bottom row. And then if you were in person, you'd pass it around. We didn't do that. We just kept the paper. And then you're going to do just eyes, no eyebrows for the top row. And then for the bottom row, so go ahead and do that. And then just mouths, but no noses for the top row. And then the bottom row, and then do that. Okay. And then noses for the top row. And then for the bottom row, do that. Then ears. And start to think really about animal shapes. I should have said that for noses, right? So animal ears, feel free to mix it up. If a character seems to be going one way, you can also lean into it. Then you're going to do legs and feet, and if you want to include clothes, feel free to do so, or you can wait until the end. But legs and feet, go ahead and do that. And then arms and hands, go ahead and do that. And then now add any other details to the top row and the bottom row, except for eyebrows. Don't do eyebrows until the very end. So these details could include tails, horns, wings, hair, patterns, other details, etc. You could add a bunch of clothing. You could add no clothing. Fur counts as clothing. And then eyebrows at the very end. Those are the most magical, most intense lines you can add. It really changes the whole thing. If these eyebrows were like the other way, it'd be like, wah, he wouldn't be very confident. But these eyebrows this way, very direct, very confident. So eyebrows, add eyebrows. And then you can match up your four, where did my writings go? Your four sentences to the characters and draw a speech bubble. And that gives them a little bit more personality. And then all of a sudden, you've got 4 characters with 4 speech bubbles to choose from for the next activity. 4 furry characters. And the next activity is Linda Berry's activity. Monster, this is your life, but I call it Furry, this is your life. And after tonight's class, I thought about different ways to switch this up, I'll say. But I won't talk about that till after I'm done here. Giving you how the Berry sets it up. So you need the end result of this one. It's going to be called, it's going to look like this. No writing planning necessary. This is about thinking or kind of creating a story without thinking about it too much. So we're going to set this up by folding a piece of paper hot dog style, and then try to fold it into thirds, like this, and then you're going to draw 6 frames. Okay. And for the comic, this is frame 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We go left to right, top down. So that's going to be important because we're going to draw this comic out of order. I'll read the instructions all the way through, and then I'm going to have you time it yourself because I don't want to like miss anything in between. So let me just read the instructions, and then you do it on your own. Okay. So, uh, Furry, call this one Furry. This is your life. You're first going to draw for 3 minutes the first panel and draw your character as a newborn in a certain setting. Wait, where was this? Who was there? And then after that, those 3 minutes are done, you're gonna do at its funeral. It lived to be old. We can see its body in the picture. Some ritual. It doesn't have to be very human. It can be kind of weird, especially if your character looks really weird. There are some really interesting ones from class tonight. Then we're going back to panel 3. As a disgruntled teen doing something you did as a teen with a particular object, something, or just anything that a teenager that who's angsty could do. And then 4, as a young adult enjoying themselves. She says the happiest time, young, wild, and free. I'm thinking a lot about kind of like how everyone's on their own journey and kind of like queer timelines where we're all kind of, time is kind of messed up for us, especially for those of us who don't have like quote unquote, I don't even want to say normal, but quote unquote normal childhoods. Like a lot of people, especially if people come out as say gay later in life, they kind of feel like a teenager sometimes. They're like, well, I'm having these like first dates and like this is what I think I was like a lot of people experienced like when they were 16, blah blah blah. So things like that. But she says, as a young adult enjoying themselves, if you want to follow Linda Berry's prompt, that's that. And then go back to panel 2, as a kid, engage in some kind of activity, something you did as a kid. And then panel 5, middle-aged at work, included the setting. And this is a silent strip, no words anywhere, but somehow a life story comes anyway. So yeah, I forgot to mention that it's a silent comic. But so go ahead and do all of that. Now we have the story. So my dog guy, born, video games, worked out, enjoying himself, reading a book, drinking coffee, French press, doing spreadsheets. I was thinking listen to audiobook. I kind of like fit in this cat guy and like it's kind of like vaguely like, oh, is the cat like the partner? I don't know. This one it didn't get too specific. Sometimes when I do this activity it gets really specific. But either way it's fine. A huge life story has been told after just less than an hour of drawing. You can always expand upon this if you want to mess with it. This is just to like get you confident and say, "Oh, look, we did a multi-panel comic. Isn't that great?" Okay, so we did some more drawing time. Some more sharing time after that, and then I'm gonna show us the drawings that we looked at together for 30 seconds each. This is an activity from when Linda Berry took the class at Maryland Frasca at Evergreen State College. So we're just looking at drawings, not trying to experience anything in particular, but trying to, something we could think about is, what if we were stuck in a waiting room and this is the only drawing that we see, and we don't have a cell phone and we're stuck there? What would our experience be? So I'm going to read the names and the years that it was published. Some of these might be a little wrong, especially the years. So sorry in advance if any of the years are wrong. And yeah, so, and I won't wait 30 seconds. You'll have to pause it yourself, but I'll go through and share. Okay, so first was Salt Malkin 2026. So pause 30 seconds and then we'll go to the next one. Staying Cool by Relish 2026. And the next one is Badger Poodle Wool 2023. Love by Terry Smith 2026. It's this one. And then we weren't sure exactly who the artist was here, but it's 1982. This is Cy Sable's Skill Tears. Then the next is The Burrows Below, Jolly Jersey, 2023. Then Slurp by Fern Sigillum, 2026. And then Paul Pung, 2026. And then next we have Look Up by Sean Leedy, 2021. Then Javelina Girl by Joe Rosales, Joe Art Guy, 2010. That's this one. Next one's also Joe Rosales, 2010. Although it says 2003 on there, I think, for the confusion. And then Signing the Cast, Moradina, 2008. And then this next one might have a little bit of body horror if you'd consider it body horror, not sure. Dirt Secret, bluesky.social, 2026. Next is Kai Caitlin, 2026. Next is Ethan M. Aldridge, 2026. And we had Steeple, 2026. A lot of recent ones. Then I wrote down Snarkclaw illustration for Conifer Conbook, 2002. It says Shark Claw down there, so that might be wrong. And then Tom PC, 2026. Pendrake, 2023. And then Cerberus, 2026. Then Fry Pry, 2026. Then Putrid Hound, unsure about the year. This is recent. And then The Banquet by Lonnie Garcia, 2025. Great. So that was us looking at furry art together. Okay. Okay, so next up, we did the 4-box diary. So I showed that from page 124 of Making Comics. And it's, we did a little reading out of here first. She quotes, it's a T.H. Kuhn. I think that's actually an abbreviation for something. Those phenomena which we have no affinity and which we are not in some sense ready to see are often not seen at all. So here's her introduction to the 4-panel comic. I've always wondered about the 4-panel structure of comics. Stories and jokes use a 3-beat, beginning, middle, end. Comics use an additional unnamed beat, the beat between beats drummers call the pocket. It's a good idea to make 12-minute 4-panel comics every day for a while. Silent ones featuring entire bodies. Do these in your comic book. Start by drawing a character, human, animal, vegetable, imaginary. We're doing the diary version of this, so we'll be drawing our own persona or ourselves as an animal in a scene that shows them engaged in their day-to-day lives. Then what happens? After a week or so, you will have an infinity for a 4-panel beat. Something I want to adjust here is if you're really sick of drawing your own life, you can't just do fiction, and I think I will say that in the Discord. Okay, 4-box diary. So it's different than the X page that we did before, this first X page that she recommends. She says a memory blast. So draw a big X on the left side or on the page before you flip it. And for 3 minutes, draw or write a memory blast of the past 24 hours. Let one thought lead to the next. Think about images as a scene, she says. And then we're going to do set up a 4-panel comic and choose one thing from over here and draw it for 3 minutes as the first panel, and then do the same thing for the next 3 scenes. Or you can just totally scrap the memory blast. Maybe you're like, oh wait, this is the one thing I want to draw. Do whatever. I recommend drawing something that's challenging. This is a place to experiment. Here is the result from mine. So, boom. Had a really nice breakfast, leftover French toast and a coffee. And then I was printing out my my class notes. And then lighting. And then watched the FIFA World Cup final. My boyfriend and my friends and roommates were over here. Didn't fit them in. And then I showed up to class as Gobble Cat. Yeah. Okay, so I think I wrote this one down. Maybe this one down, but I didn't do this one. So it can be 4 different scenes. It can be something. It can be one whole scene with like 4 different moments, quick succession. And yeah, it's very exciting that we're drawing comics now. I don't think I have anything else to add there. Feel free to use the Ivan Brunetti method, like I showed last time. I think it's still sitting up here. Oh no, it's not. Interesting. Yeah, feel free to use the Ivan Brunetti method. I'll show that one more time here for these. It does not, you don't have to be, this doesn't have to be really pretty. We're just trying to get into the images. Specifically, we're trying to get into 4 in a row. Okay, here's the Ivan Brunetti method. Big head, little body, enough shape to give to so that we can add details to it. Okay, that's it. And then next week we're gonna need our watercolors. We're gonna need a bunch of different things. We're gonna need our Uniball Vision pen because it's waterproof. We're gonna need our watercolors, the watercolor brush, paper towel / napkin, the note cards again, and a pencil and an eraser, along with our composition notebook. And the recommended reading that I'm gonna assign this week is this Kyler Roberts video about comics composition. And if I remember, I will link it in the description below. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Good luck.